Well, I think it's important for the patients to know that it's our job to have them come in and us be happy to see them.
Mm-hmm.
We are happy to see new patients. Sometimes in the busy day-to-day life of a practice, sometimes people don't get the right impression, but I think it's really important for them to know that we do want to see them and we do want them to come in. Our expertise is in allergy, so anything that the patient has questions about that relate to allergy, we're glad to try to work with them and get to the bottom of their allergies. As far as things they could bring information, any previous allergy testing is always useful for us. Now we have our own ideas about how to do that, and I think we do it better than most other venues, I'll say. And so we're really happy to have that old information though. When I was a kid, I grew up on a bunch of lakes in Central Florida. And everybody's a water creature in Central Florida. And so I was in and out of the water all day, every day. And it turned out that our neighbors had sailboats. And they were just little one-person dinghies. And after I had been around for a couple of months, they were like, yeah, if you want to take the sailboats out, you can. So every afternoon in Florida, there's usually a thunderstorm. And before that thunderstorm is a bunch of wind. So a bunch of us figured out that we could go out right before the thunderstorms and catch some incredible wind and flip the boats and do all kind of fun stuff. So that's what we did. And so for about a year I did that, and then didn't really take it back up until recently, last 2 or 3 years. I was interested in the field of allergy, immunology, and pulmonary, and had a really tough time deciding between those three fields. And I was working at the Johns Hopkins Asthma Allergy Center, so we did both. We did stuff with the lungs, we did stuff with allergy, and it was just real easy once I found that group to go ahead and do a fellowship, and that's what I did. I'm from Birmingham originally, spent a little time in Florida, and then went off to college up in Massachusetts, but came back here for medical school. So I did my 4 years of medical school at UAB, which was a great place to learn. And then went up to Johns Hopkins to do my training in internal medicine and then in allergy and immunology. Well, there's lots of things that I think we know about. One area is food allergy. There's a lot of misconceptions about food allergy. Many people will eat certain foods and maybe get an upset stomach or maybe not digest that food very well and kind of assume that's allergy. And a lot of times when we check people, they don't really have an allergy. They're having what we would call a food intolerance, meaning their body's just not able to digest it properly. At the other end of the spectrum is the opposite, where people poo-poo their food allergies or their grandkids' food allergies and don't think that it's a real, disorder. And now all of a sudden, you got an adult giving a kid a peanut, and the kid's allergic to peanut, and they're going to get into real trouble. So we kind of have the lighter end of the spectrum and the more serious end of the spectrum. And at least with food allergy, you basically need to be evaluated by somebody that knows what they're doing. I guess my favorite movie is Gladiator. I love that movie. It's just, this guy, he's at the top of the world. He's super competent. He's doing a great job, and then he falls all the way to the bottom of the world. And then he's got so much talent and so much charisma and so much leadership skills that by the end of the movie, in a way, he's another great leader again. I just love watching that movie. I could watch it 10 times a day. Oh, I would probably want to eat with Sir Isaac Newton. He was an odd character. I know he was an odd character, but he was probably the most brilliant man of all time. And I just love to hear stories about how he made his great discoveries, because a lot of his discoveries were when he was in his early 20s. I mean, he discovered like whole fields of research that it took 100 years of filling in the spaces to actually get to the bottom of. So that would be a great person. As far as others, I'm trying to think who else would be good. I'd probably like to sit down with Ted Turner or one of the other great American skippers and find out how they got into sailing and how they did so well. A lot of people don't know that Ted Turner, besides establishing, Turner Network News and CNN and everything else, he was a prize-winning sailor and won the America's Cup for the United States when everybody thought he was just a redneck not from Alabama, but from Georgia. And it turned out that he was actually a very good sailor and put together a great team, much like he did in Atlanta with, CNN.